very full and colourful grid of cars for round 7 of the 750 Motor Club AB Performance RGB Championship. It's for road going, bike engine sports cars, and the cars that are dominant towards the front of the grid are the Spire GT3s, but getting in amongst them in the family-built Mattel MC52 is Scott Mattel. He's in the green, white and red car on the outside of the front row of the grid. Matthew Higginson in the green 83 Spire GT3 is on pole position as the lights go out. The race gets underway. 13 minutes plus 1 lap. There's more than 30 cars on this grid. It's a very full field of machines that heads down towards Redgate Corner for the first time, and a mixture here of the rear-engined cars, which are Class R, the front-engine cars, which are Class F. Generally speaking, it's the rear-engine cars towards the pointy end of the field, but the action and the intensity of the battle in Class F is no less, certainly. Good start made by Matthew Higginson. He's ahead of Scott Mattel. It's John Cutmore third and Alistair Bolton fourth. So the first 4 cars on the grid have held their station. As number 9, he had a bit of a moment there going through Old Hairpin. That's Colin Spicer in the Fury Wildmore. Now there's a yellow flag that has gone out, and that is because the number 13 car, which is Stephen Mallion, has been stranded on the way into Redgate Corner, so he has had a mechanical breakdown, it would seem, very early on during the course of that race. And the spinner there is Andy Hiley, the former 750 Motor Club kit car champion in his Kronos, which has been getting ever quicker. He has a moment down at the hairpin, gets going again, but he's lost quite a few places because of that. He gets going again now though. So the 2 leaders pulling away a little bit now. Matthew Higginson in the Spire, but not too far away near Chesterfield. And Scott Mattel, good to see him that far up the order in the Mattel MC52. Went very well in the first race of the season at Brands Hatch in the wet, but it's the first time that that car has really been at the sharp end in the dry. The car designed and built by Scott's father, Ian. 36 winning wide there at the exit of McLean's, has a moment and a spin, and everyone avoids him, I think, just about. That's Duncan Hall, the Coventry driver in the Spire GTR. I think he'll get going again from that, just waiting for a gap in the traffic. 49, you can see the green and red car. That's Tony Gaunt in the Wolf. This is again a car that he's put together himself. Real labour of love, and that's great to see in the 750 Motor Club. It's what it's all about. It's aimed at the amateur designer and engineer. Oh, and problems. That looks like a big blow up there for somebody. Now, is that the MNR? It possibly is. It's the 39 car of Mark Norden. Yes, the MNR LMP 2012. Looks like that's had an engine failure. Yes, there was Tony Gaunt. We're just talking about him. He's got the number 88 car behind. That's Jonathan Thackeray in the Spire GT3, who's having a look now as they go through Schwantz Curve, the left-hander. I wonder if we can make that work. As there goes, yes, that's still Mark Norden continuing around the circuit. If that's dropping oil on the track, it could be quite nasty for those that follow. I think he's got the message now. He pulls off onto the grass. Side by side as they come up to the line. This is for third position between John Cutmore on the left of your pictures. On the right, it's Alistair Bolton. And Al had his maiden overall race victory at Pembrey last time out. He was delighted by that. But he loses the place there. He's behind John Cutmore. He stays behind, in actual fact, in 4th position. But Al was very keen to get an overall race victory under his belt before his 40th birthday, and he did it with a couple of months to spare at Pembrey. He was jubilant about that. Helped slightly because Matthew Higginson had a 10-second penalty and couldn't unravel that. It was for a jump start before the race was red flagged due to another incident. Talking of Matthew Higginson, he's got his work cut out here. Scott Mattel keeping him very honest indeed. Problems for 52. Spinning around is the Fisher Fury of Cambridgeshire driver Daniel Bromelo. Fortunately not making contact with anything. So it's certainly an incident-packed race. And there's Tony Gaunt now having a moment. Oh, that's such a shame. It was going well, but spins right around in front of Jonathan Thackeray, who moves up another position, up into 6th now, I think he goes. That's a real shame. And on to the final lap, as into the pits has come Lee Baverstock in the AB Performance Sabre, but the Spires are going well out front. Still leading this race is Matthew Higginson. He's got a bit more daylight between himself and Scott Mattel now, as they make their way through Fogarty. Tony Gaunt after his spin. Oh, I was just about to say we joined in front of Colin Chapman, but now he's had another moment up at McLean's and he's got the front wheels buried in the gravel. That's going to be very difficult for him to get out of that. Out of Goddard for the final time then comes number 83, Matthew Higginson, to take victory. He's had a good start to the season. He's had 3 wins already this year. Make that 4 now, because he's won round 7 of the championship. Oh, and off! And off goes Colin Spicer, number 9. Now that's under yellow flags for that car that had already gone off of Tony Gaunt. So I should think the observers might take a slightly dim view of that, because when the yellow flags are out, you need to be in control of your car. Here are the results of that first race of the weekend for the AB Performance RGB Championship. 1.33 seconds the gap between Higginson and Mittal. Cutmore 3rd and Bolton 4th. Winning Class F, Stephen Bell in his Silver Striker ahead of Paul Rickers and Austin Greenway, who was in 10th place overall. We're into the second half of the AB Performance RGB Championship season now, because this is round 8 of 14. On pole position this time it's Scott Mittal, Higginson next to him, then Bolton and Cutmore on row 2. There are a few gaps on the grid. There is race 1, Class F winner Stephen Bell. He gets away quite nicely ahead of Paul Rickers, number 42. There's gaps next to him where Andy Hiley and Colin Spicer were missing. But a good start by Matthew Higginson from the outside of row 1, and he's beat the pole position man Scott Mittal, the school teacher, into Redgate Corner for the first time. Rest of the field making their way through then, and it is Higginson that leads, Mittal second. Bolton there has managed to hold on to 3rd position ahead of John Cutmore. Cutmore in one of the Worksman Spires, Bolton with a family spun effort. All the field making their way through. There's the number 12 car, which is David Watson in his MNR Vortex. Another regular in the AB Performance RGB Championship. There's Tony Gaunt, number 49, after a somewhat adventurous first race, which he did, I think, eventually get to the end of. He managed to pull his Wolf TG02 out of the gravel and get to the checkered flag. There goes Bolton then. And it's a bit of a gap back actually to John Cutmore this time. Possibly he's made a bit of a mistake. Paul Rogers was there in 5th, Jonathan Thackeray 6th, Tony Gaunt is 7th, and a very good 8th for Stephen Bell. He is ahead this time of some of the Class R cars, including Colin Chapman, who went well in the earlier race to finish 7th overall in his BDN. There's 42 Paul Rickers just ahead of Lee Baverstock, who failed to finish the earlier race. So Chapman going through picture, then Stephen Bell, Tony Gordon just tucked in behind him is David Whale, another of the Spires, car number 25. Whale having a look down the inside of Tony Gaunt there, can't make it through. To Hollywood they go, still Stephen Bell in car number 86 ahead. Austin Greenway has been the man to beat and leads Class F this season. Paul Rickers, though, before this weekend had taken 2 wins. Stephen Bell's win earlier on was his first of the season as far as Class F was concerned. He's under pressure here for an overall position now from Tony Gaunt. Points are scored within each individual class. Class F for the front engine cars, Class R for the rear engine cars. Your overall finishing position doesn't actually make any difference to your championship points haul. So I would think Stephen Bell will be a little bit more concerned about Paul Rickers, the blue car number 42, that is just a couple of cars behind him. There's Austin Greenway now. He has been the man to beat so far this season. He's had 4 wins, 2 at Brands and then 1 each at Snetterton and Pembrey. Not quite going to plan for the man who drives the Gen 1. There's Watson again in the number 12 car, the MNR Vortex. The blue machine, someone else running out wide a little bit. A couple of cars running 4 wheels over the white lines on the way out of Redgate Corner that time. A little bit frowned upon is that. You can see Greenway, number 4, trying to make some progress up through the field. There's a mistake there, that's Duncan Haller again, number 36. You can see the black cross on the yellow background, which indicates that he's still in his first few races, still getting a little bit of experience. Number 72 is in trouble. That is Ian Kempson in the MK Stealth ZX10. Oh, 3 abreast down into Redgate that time. The 22 car is involved with Robert Grant. That's the Purple Silver Phoenix. Austin Greenway is there as well. That battle, great battle it is too, amongst the front engine cars, heading up towards the hairpin at Goddard. The number 7 car of James Walker also involved. That's another of the STM Phoenixes. Lots of outbraking trying to be achieved here at Donington Park this weekend, with the addition of 2 hairpins to the layout compared to the normal national configuration. Oh, now is that a problem for Austin Greenway? A bit of smoke there. Now was that just from a lock-up, or is there a problem with the car? Number 83, Matthew Higginson, out of Coppice corner, but look at this fight for second place now, because Scott Mittel has Alistair Bolton right with him. In the earlier race, Mittel took the fight to the outright leader, but this time he's under threat from the Pembrey race winner, number 2, Alistair Bolton, the Gloucestershire man. Out of Fogarty they've come, heading down towards Melbourne Hairpin. This race heading towards its conclusion. It's the left-hand driving position for Scott Mittel, as opposed to the more usual right-hand driving position. Double low-cost champion in the past has been Scott Mittel, whereas Al Bolton has been the man to beat in the front-engine class of the RGB Championship for quite a few years now, switching to the rear-engine division for this season in the Spire. Up and over the line they come. Mittel holds second for the moment. There's John Cutmore, slightly muted race by his standards, in 4th position. He'd won twice coming into this weekend at Brands Hatch and Snetterton. This is our Class F leader, number 86, Stephen Bell. Out of the hairpin he comes, just in between Colin Chapman with the new bodywork on his BDN S2. You can see the addition at the back of the car there. Slightly enforced after an off at Snetterton in testing, but in actual fact it seems to be working out quite well for Colin since he's run with that on his car at Pembrey and now at Donington Park this weekend. Ian Kempson from a kit car race, you can see there in number 72, just being lapped by Colin Chapman. And Stephen Bell is about to put a lap on him as well, our Class F leader. On to the final lap of the race goes Matthew Higginson in his Spire GT3. As a spin, and that is for the number 21 car, Kelvin Rawls in his Wolf, the second of the Wolves. Well, that car was actually a flame in the free practice session this morning, and a lot of hard work has been done to get Kelvin Rawls onto the grid for this second race of the weekend. He didn't make the first one, but good to see him out in this race 2 of the weekend. There's number 77 pulling off as well. That's Philip Leatherby in the Mach 1. As Higginson, car number 83, the man from Chorley in Lancashire, turns his way out of Goddard, and he's the first double winner this season in the AB Performance RGB Championship. Scott Mittel clings on to second, and Alistair Bolton 3rd position. John Cutmore takes 4th amongst the rear-engined cars. Confirmation of the win for Matthew Higginson by a shade under 5 seconds, but there was only less than a second between Scott Mittel and Alistair Bolton, and John Cutmore in 4th. As far as Class F was concerned, Stephen Bell, an excellent 8th overall. Second in Class F was Paul Rickers in 11th. David Watson, a fine 12th, after Austin Greenway, who was among the retirements. Well, join us after the break for more action from Formula V.